here for CAA football, the Blitz, as we continue.
And he may go the distance. Terrence
You're going to put yourself in a situation to win a lot of football games.
Hello, CAA football fans. Bobby Broyles and Scott Meyer here, and we welcome you to this edition of CAA Football, the Blitz. All the teams in the league now officially have a game under their belts. And Scott, the conference slate is upon us, which means the intensity and the excitement will certainly be turned up a notch.
Yeah, absolutely, Bobby. Fans that are excited now, we get into CAA action. 2 games on the slate this weekend, 4 teams. All have a little bit of urgency now in camp as they prepare and to get to the end line. They want to raise that CAA football trophy.
But before we break down this weekend's conference action, let's take a look back at your Week 2 highlights from around the league and the CAA Football Players of the Week. The New Hampshire Wildcats traveled out to the Midwest for their first ever meeting with Big Ten foe Minnesota. Sophomore quarterback Andy Vallis came in for an injured Sean Goldridge and passed for 158 yards. Running back Chris Setian scored the only touchdown for New Hampshire from 6 yards out to cut the Minnesota lead to 2 late in the first quarter. But Minnesota would pull away, scoring 35 unanswered points to defeat New Hampshire 44-7. The Maine Black Bears opened up their 2012 season with a trip to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College out of the ACC. First quarter preseason All-CAA defensive team member Michael Cole forces a fumble that led to a Maine field goal to give the Black Bears an early 3-0 lead. Cole added 2 sacks in the second quarter, but Boston College would score 34 unanswered points to knock off Maine 34-3. The Route 1 rivalry between the Delaware Blue Hens and Delaware State kicked off our NBC Sports Network broadcasts. Delaware State on the move, but senior safety Ricky Tunstall makes the interception, and he has a convoy out in front as Tunstall weaves his way through traffic and takes it all the way back for 91 yards for the touchdown. Sophomore quarterback Trent Hurley would account for 162 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns as the Blue Hens took a 28-7 lead at the half and never looked back, knocking off Delaware State 38-14. The Georgia State Panthers looking to get their first win of the year as they played SEC opponent Tennessee. Redshirt freshman quarterback Ben McClain led Georgia State with 146 passing yards and scored the Panthers' only touchdown of the game with this 12-yard scamper as the Panthers fall to 0-2 on the season with a 51-13 loss to Tennessee. William & Mary looking to get their first win of the season as they played host to Lafayette. Sophomore wide receiver Trey McBride highlighted the Tribe's efforts offensively as he totaled a game-high 5 catches for 91 yards with 2 touchdowns, including this fourth quarter touchdown reception with just over a minute and a half to go to cut the Lafayette lead to 3. But Lafayette would recover the ensuing onside kick and defeat the Tribe 17-14. Offensive Player of the Week goes to James Madison running back Daquan Scott, who accounted for 147 yards of offense and 3 touchdowns in the Duke's 42-3 win over Alcorn State. Defensive Player of the Week goes to Delaware linebacker Paul Warlow, who logged a career-high 18 tackles, helping Delaware retain the first state cup in a 38-14 win over rival Delaware State. Rookie of the Week goes to Villanova quarterback John Robertson, who led the Wildcats to a 28-13 come-from-behind victory over Fordham, finishing with 124 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns. Special Teams Player of the Week goes to Delaware punter Raleigh Zaragoza, who launched a 54-yard punt and converted a 4th and 6 in the second quarter with a 9-yard run in the Blue Hens' 48-14 win over Delaware State. As we turn the page to Week 3, conference play kicks off, and there's no better way to do it than put our last 2 conference champions in a nationally televised game as the William & Mary Tribe looking to get that offense on track as they travel to Towson to take on the Tigers, who are coming off a bye week after losing their opener to Kent State.
Yeah, Bobby, 2 teams desperately wanting to win to open conference play, but also just get a win. I think you look at William & Mary and what Coach Laycock called a horrible performance across the board against Lafayette. Certainly something that he wants to do is get consistency both on the offensive side first and foremost, and then get back to that way of defense that they played against Maryland. I think if they can do that, they might be able to control the game a little bit, which gives that offense time to find itself. Who's going to be quarterback? Is it going to be Ortiz? Is it going to be Graham? Is it going to be Caprio? We don't really know. And they're looking for playmakers on the outside too. Nobody's really stepped up for the Tribe. If you look at Trey McBride, maybe offensively with some big plays against Lafayette, but let's find a playmaker there, and I think Coach Laycock wants to do all of that. He was a very frustrated guy following Lafayette. Towson, another thing you look at is those 6 turnovers against Kent State. Very out of character for that team if you look back to last season and the amount of turnovers that they didn't have. They were very few in the turnover category, but I think for them, it's playing at home, Unitas Stadium. I hear that they've sold out their student allotment of tickets. I mean, that place is going to be electric, and it's going to be on NBC Sports Network, nationally televised.
The other conference matchup of the weekend pairs 2 of the younger teams in the league as the Rhode Island Rams hit the road to take on CAA Football Rookie of the Week, quarterback John Robertson and the Villanova Wildcats.
Yeah, you mentioned John Robertson, obviously a rookie performer, one that Villanova is going to kind of try to put their game plan on now, but they're going to do it slowly. I think if you look back against Fordham, they were able to control that second half tempo of the game with their defense. That 3-down lineman guys getting after the quarterback, controlling the pace of the game and letting the defensive backs kind of make tackles and make plays. Look for Villanova to try and do that against a young Rhode Island team. Coach Trainer has a lot of talent on that team, but they're all very, very young. And defensively, they're a little bit banged up in terms of Johnson and Zacco. So it's going to be one of those games where Rhode Island just needs some sort of momentum builder and progress in building. I think Villanova probably has the upper hand in this game, but largely both teams want some momentum to springboard into that conference season.
Here's a look at the rest of this weekend's action around CAA football. Remember, fans, you can follow all the action around CAA football through CAAfootball.com and our many social media outlets.
Absolutely, Bobby. Urge our fans to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, certainly. But on top of that, interact with us. Use our official hashtag CAAFB. If you see something online, tag it. If you like anything that's going on inside of a game, tag it. And on top of that, if you're at a game, take a few pictures. Post those on our Facebook wall. We're going to try to branch out and interact with our fans during the game day experience while we're watching on TV, while you're watching at the game, or when you're watching on TV. We want to talk to you and see what's going on.
Definitely looking forward to see the interaction with the fans since the conference race now has begun. For my colleague Scott Meyer, I'm Bobby Broyles. Remember to join us right here next week for more CAA football, The Blitz.